Good evening, you're watching News Night. Amid serious discord over the Citizenship Amendment Act in certain communities, the Prime Minister has now launched an outreach. By tweeting spiritual Guru Sadhguru's message, the Prime Minister seems to assure that no Indian minority will lose their citizenship. This outreach is meant to assuage trepidation of the minorities amid fear-mongering, or at least the charges of fear-mongering by the opposition, by the BJP. Here is what Sadhguru has said in his message, something that was tweeted out by the Prime Minister's own Twitter handle. All right, Tuhin Sinha joins us, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us from Mumbai. MC Abbas is a political analyst, joins us from Bangalore. And Chetan Singh, also a political analyst, completes the panel. Thank you all for joining us. Tuhin Sinha, let me start with the basic question here. Even Sadhguru in his message has predicated his message by suggesting, or at least trying to paint the anti-CAA protest across the country as primarily associated with one particular community, that is the minority community. That is patently untrue, sir. That is not the case. All communities, students related to all communities have participated in this protest. Now, why shouldn't somebody doubt the motives here as well? It's a simple question.
See, Arthur, there are two apprehensions which have been at the core of all the protests which have taken place against the CAA NRC. Number one, Muslims were given this impression that they would lose citizenship. And number two, people have been parroting this line that the whole act is constitutional. And both of these allegations stand exposed today. Number one, the Muslims have no way, there is no scope of them being disenfranchised, there is no scope of them losing citizenship. And number two, why it is constitutional. Harish Salveji has explained on your channel in a very detailed interview with Rahul Shivshankar. I have explained that multiple number of times. So this entire, misleading of the minority community specifically has come to a naught, and that is precisely what Sadhguru was mentioning in his
but you're not answering my question, Tuhin Sinha. Even Sadhguru is trying to paint the protest as if they were only coming from one particular community. That is patently untrue, sir. That's my question.
Absolutely.
No, he did not do that.
Yes, he did.
He did not do
He only concentrated on one particular community, sir.
What he has mentioned...
Can I come in?
No, let Tuhin finish his answer, please.
What he has mentioned was that an attempt was made. You hear the speech again. What Sadhguru ji has said is that an attempt was made to mislead the minority community by making them believe that they would lose citizenship. Isn't that a fact? I'm not sure how active you are on the social media, but most of the protesters based their arguments around this false notion.
Again, there is a generalization I don't agree with, sir.
And Anurag Kashyap
One second. I'll read out to you exactly what the CAA said also, and how it is different from the earlier version of CAA, which was in fact endorsed by L.K. Advani, the Deputy Prime Minister at the point in 2003, and also Manmohan Singh, and what he said in Parliament about the same. These two, the current version of the CAA, is very different. I'll tell you how also, to him. But let me first ask MC Abbas to respond to this charge that MC Abbas, even Sadhguru in his message, another BJP and the Prime Minister seems to be suggesting there was a patent attempt, a concerted attempt to mislead one particular community about the actual facts that are contained within the CAA. Now, how do you respond?
Absolutely not. I completely disagree. One particular community here in question is the Muslim community, and a few political parties or organization cannot mislead the masses, such as 20 crore people here. Secondly, I'd like to say Sadhguru ji himself makes a self-defeating statement in the opening of the video, where he says he's not read the CAA fully, but from what he hears from the media and so on and so forth, he's making a statement. Sir, you are not a legal advisor or an expert, therefore you come across as a Baba or a Guru and parrot the lines pro-establishment. That to me as a mere mortal civilian does not be comprehensible. Firstly, he is inconclusive. He is speaking only of one end. Secondly, he paints everybody in the same picture. He concludes that only Muslims are out there who are protesting and there's nobody else involved. We are the illiterates and writers and protest and violence. Absolutely not. This shows that Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev ji has been condoned, and therefore I am sure PMO's team has not seen this video because it is inconclusive, it is incomprehensible, and it is self-defeating. And they've tweeted upon it. Whereas, firstly, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji comes in and says NRC, which is taking place, किसने कहा NRC हो रहा है, कहाँ हो रहा है? Whereas Amit Shah on the floor of the parliament says nationwide NRC होगा. Also, Kiran Rijiju, November 2014 says NPR is the first step.
We pointed out, MC Abbas, we have pointed out the mixed signaling and messaging on the NRC. I in fact did the debate yesterday, late last night. Yes. I pointed all of that out right ambiguous. Now. But let me come back to Chetan Singh, and I want to go back to Tuhin Sinha. I also want to quote to Tuhin in a bit how the current CAA is different from the one envisaged by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government in 2003. I'll enumerate that in the course of the program. But Chetan Singh, do you believe Sadhguru's message is valid, that only one particular community reacted to what he called was misinformation by some elements? He also seems to suggest here, Sadhguru does, Chetan, that those people protesting haven't even read the law. Isn't that presumptuous to presume that people who are out there are completely ignorant of what the CAA contains? Isn't that slightly presumptuous?
See, I'm extremely astonished today to hear and to see that Sadhguru ji is in support of the current discourse. Though I really respect him a lot, he is a very towering personality, he's a well-aware man. But having said this, he being making these kind of statements is something like he is endorsing to the current discourse first. Second most important point, we have recently seen, 2 days back, that how our army chief, Vipin Rawat ji, he has made a political statement, and today I think he has received a good reward. This is what I'm going to say. Having said this, what I'm trying to say, even if the spiritual leader or the defense people, if they're going to endorse the government, may not going to be good for the democracy first. Second most important point, there are possibilities. I'm not denying the fact that there are people in our streets who are opposing it. They may have not read the CAA. But help me understand, the students, the faculty members of IIT, IIMs, Harvard, international community, are they also ignorant? Are they also ignorant? If you think that this is not, I am saying, this is the current discourse saying that Indians, people who are on road, they are illiterate.
Respond to that. It's a valid query here.
So
isn't it presumptuous to suggest that anyone who's opposing the CAA in its current form is misinformed and hasn't read the act? Isn't that presumptuous, sir? Tuhin?
See, I have a video with me by one of the protesters. I have a video with me of one of the protesters, and these form of protests have been rampant across the country. It says, say it on the barricade, La ilaha illallah. Say it to the tear gas, La ilaha illallah. These are the videos. And these form a major part of the protests across the country.
No, don't generalize, first of all. Don't generalize to him. Don't take out one video out of context and say this is the nature of the protest.
Please don't.
Please. Don't take out a video which I cannot identify or authenticate and say this is the nature of the protest. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to stop you there. I have to stop you here. I'm so sorry. Tuhin Sinha, do not try to generalize the character of a worldwide protest by taking out one unauthenticated video and saying this is the truth. You cannot. You are trying to generalize the entire protest around the world and saying, I'm sorry.
You are trying to hijack
that is, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Don't try and inject communal poison here. I'm sorry.
I said a large fraction of the protests have resorted to these closures.
How many protests have you seen, Tuhin Sinha? How many protests were you there for? How many protests were you there for?
How is this the intent? Is this the
okay?
Intent
Now, let me not digress. Let me not digress. One second. You go to Muzaffarnagar and see what's happening there. You go to Muzaffarnagar and see what's happening there, where police is terrorizing people there.
Of course, I'm in touch with people from across the country.
Okay.
Unlike you, I'm in touch with people from across the country. I get reports on a daily basis.
Okay, now please. Now, please. Allow me now to turn this and ask, one second, MC Abbas, I'm coming to you, sir. I'm coming to you. Give me a second, sir. Now, my only question is this. Now, I don't want to focus overtly on just what the Sadhguru has said. This is not only the point of debate here. Let me ask Tuin Sinha also, and I'll come back to you, Tuin. You can respond to me because I'm quoting facts to you. Now, this is what the current CAA, which is the Citizenship Amendment Act, unlike what the 2003 set had asked for and then Congress had endorsed also. I'll give you that, Tuin. Manmohan Singh in Parliament had endorsed what Advani ji had said. I completely agree. But unlike the CAA, which names a limited set of neighboring countries and a limited set of qualifying religious groups, the Congress leader, Dr. Manmohan Singh, had then asked for persecuted minorities in general from the neighborhood to be considered for citizenship. This is fact number one. Fact number two, sir, Mr. Advani had said that he agreed with Manmohan Singh that he went on to make a distinction between illegal immigrant and a bona fide refugee, defined in his words as a person who has to flee because of religious persecution. Now, how is the current CAA different, sir? I'll tell you how it's different. That even Vajpayee ji was in favor of persecuted minorities being considered for citizenship. That included people of the Hazara tribes, that included people, Ahmadiyas, Shias, who had suffered in various Afghani regimes, including the Taliban. Ironically, Mr. Sinha, under the current CAA, they would possibly be forced to go back to Afghanistan. Now, this is what I'm trying to point out to you. When the BJP says that even the Congress in the past had asked for the same, they're not telling us the entire truth, are they?
Yeah,
MC Abbas.
Yeah, Athar.
Very simply put it forward, Athar Sahab. To me, when I look at it, this seems to be one of the most ambiguous communication from the Bharatiya Janata Party. In their defense, they use it very well. The previous NRC, the Assam Accord, and to now, saying that Congress ne ye kiya, Congress ke zamane mein ye tha, hum kiye to kya galti hai. They very well know how to manipulate the constitution to bring in a bill or an act which is discriminatory on purpose of religion. Now, our Prime Minister, from his official tweets, he makes an outreach which is firstly incomprehensible, which does not define anything, and then you bring in a Jaggi Vasudev who has always known to be rightist, who is known to be favoring the BJP government time and again. How will that, even if I am a person who does not take sides, who's genuinely looking forward to an outreach, understand? When this Babaji has not even read the CAA, he's not a legal expert or an advisor, what right authority or what weightage
he can have an opinion on it. There's no stopping anyone from having an opinion on it. Sadhguru can have an...
But
you had a question.
He paints everybody. He says only Muslims are out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, hold on. Tuin wants to come in. Tuin
Sinha. You have mentioned in the present CAA.
Tuin Sinha.
There are people...
MC Abbas, let Mr. Sinha come in. Let Mr. Sinha come in.
They are protesting.
Now, Mr. Abbas, please. Mr. Sinha will speak. Go ahead, Tuin.
Okay.
So, Athar, you had a pointed question and hear out the response.
Yes.
Now, the changes which have come about in the present CAA only streamline the previous CAA. Which are the three theocratic states in our neighborhood? It spells out the three theocratic states. Which are the religious minorities who have been persecuted? And it makes a very clear distinction. Victims of sectarian violence are not included for the simple reason that the victims of sectarian persecution have 50 other countries to look up to. But the 6 communities mentioned over here, by reasonable classification, which is the country these 6 minorities would go to?
Religions in the first
except
place?
for India. There
Why
is no
list
other place.
religions?
But
Why
India
are
is a
not
secular
all
nation,
refugees
sir.
welcome?
It is not a Hindu nation.
It only
Read the constitution,
it
sir.
only
No, one second.
streamlines
Mr. Abbas, please
When
hold
I
your
say
horses.
victims
Mr.
of
Abbas,
religious-
please. Hold your horses.
Just a second. When I say victims of religious persecution and exclude, when I say victims of religious persecution, it would have sufficed if there was a clause that victims of sectarian persecution were excluded. But the bill only streamlines and makes it very unambiguous.
Mr. Sinha, let me ask you another question. Let me ask my other panelists a question.
Article 14
No, one second.
Article 40
Tuhin
of the Constitution has
let me
a
ask my other
provision
panelists also a question.
reasonable
Is it not true,
classification?
Tuhinji, is it not true that in 2016, many constitutional experts were invited by the Standing Committee to examine the Citizenship Amendment Bill? Back then it was a bill in 2016, had the same view as Dr. Manmohan Singh, that is, the law be drafted to give the benefit of citizenship to persecuted minorities, quote unquote, instead of naming specific religions from neighboring countries. In fact, one of those constitutional experts, I won't name him right now, had gone in front of the JPC and even warned against naming specific religions. It's all in the papers, you can check it. Now, he held the view, and many others like him held the view, the term quote unquote persecuted minorities was far more than enough to cover all those whom the legislation aimed to cover. He also went on to say the word minority in this country's constitution has not been defined, and minority does not only mean religious minority, it can be minority on any other grounds as well. The government ignored it and went ahead with listing the religions anyway. Now that is a fact. I'm not making it up. Chetan Singh, was that necessary? Chetan Singh.
See, this is the biggest concern, that what is the priority of this current discourse? If their priority is to ensure to deviate the people from the core issues and the peddle their own narrative, which they have put it in their manifesto. And also in 1996, the adhesion of BJP and RSS took place in Mumbai. They discussed 40 points. Out of these 40 points, 3 points were revolving around this Hindu Rashtra and all. So having said this, they were determined at this given point of time, and now also. We know their cadre-based organization, what kind of objective they are carrying it. Look, there was a one Hindu Rashtra, that was Nepal. They have also, made themselves a very much a secular state. But here it's a serious matter of concern when our Honorable Prime Minister Ji, in an election rally, gives the false information, wrong information, that there are no detention center. Even a retired army officer of Assam, he has been sent to one of the 6 detention center in Assam, that Golpara, that was the biggest detention center, and he was sent on 28th of May, and June first week he was released. So what I'm trying to say is that if our Honorable Prime Minister, who represents the biggest democracy of this earth, if he is falsely informed, if he is ill-informed, or he has been given a wrong information, it's a matter of serious concern. What is happening? Second, look at why there is a difference of opinion, difference of thoughts within the government, and they are putting it across in public.
No, but on
so
the
why
CAA,
they are creating this kind of confusion?
Chetan Singh, on the CAA, there is absolutely no mixed messaging by the government. The CAA, they are very clear on it. There is
on the CAA, see, look, there is a cocktail between CAA, NPR, and NRC. When this cocktail is taking place, you look, CAA, we know that in Bengal, if you're going to look at in Bengal, in Sheikh Hasina's regime, the number of Hindus percentage has increased. So look, they should have done a thorough research, and you'd be surprised to know about it. Pakistan, yes, but you see, as I mentioned, in Bengal, the number of Hindus who have been persecuted and number of Hindus population has increased, and that's a good number of increment which has taken place. So still,
okay.
They should have considered.
All
they
right.
would have given a good thought to it.
Let me go back. Let me go back to Tuhin Sinha now. Tuhin Sinha, let me come back to the Sadhguru video. I'll come to you, Abbas. I'll come to you. Give me a second. Tuhin Sinha, let me ask you there. Some queries also on Sadhguru video here as well. It seems to have some gaps. You can call them mistakes if you want. You can call them errors if you want. I'm not the one using the nomenclature here. He's first of all echoing the government line that some illiterate youth in universities went wild. Now, by far the biggest criticism of the government and the handling of the government's of these protests has been that you're trying to paint the entire student community, which does not agree with you politically, with one broad brush. Was that necessary in the Sadhguru video, Tuhin Sinha? Are you trying to paint everybody as illiterate who doesn't really understand what's going on?
It's a fact that the Constitution guarantees you the right for peaceful assembly and peaceful protests. But if in the protests either the students or some other people gather over there, and in the guise of students those people hurl petrol bombs at police, I don't think anybody can condone that form of violence. In Lucknow alone, in the last 1 week, there have been 50 bullet injuries to policemen. Now, where do those bullets come from if it is such a peaceful protest? So I don't think, whether he should have used the word illiterate students or not, that's a separate question.
But he has, hasn't he?
The fact is that these peaceful protests have turned violent.
Also,
that
sir,
petrol pumps have been used, lathis have been used,
let me just
arson has
point
been
out what
created.
Sadhguru's video also contains. He first of all wrongly characterizes the Hindu Marriage Act in Pakistan, saying Hindu marriages are not legal in Pakistan, which is absolutely wrong. Pakistan Parliament passed a law in 2017 and Sindh in fact had a law much before that. He goes on to say CAA is only for religious persecution. Now, persecution is only the SOR in the act, not defined. CAA does not define persecuted, it only mentions persecuted. Second, when he says police got brutally thrashed in most places, university students throwing stones from inside police cruiser lost a lot of restraint, that is actually factually incorrect. Huge number of videos from UP footage contradict this blanket statement. My only question is, did he have to make such blanket statements which can easily be ripped apart by anyone who just has to read media reports, not just forget Times Now, just open any paper and you'll see how many big gaps are there.
Was he under pressure? This is also a question.
Arthur, you can personally reach out to Sadhguru with facts, and if he has been wrong, you can correct him. But what he said about Pakistan was in the context of him meeting a person whose wife was abducted and on the same day married to somebody else. And he repeated in that video that I'm not sure whether a Hindu marriage is illegal over there, but to my knowledge it is. So what is wrong in that? What he said was in a particular context. You may reach out to him separately. You may correct him if you have facts to the contrary.
Okay. Very quickly, MC Abbas, I have very little time on this. Respond to Mr. Tuhin Sinha on this.
All right. All right. I think very simple. Very simply put, I've seen the complete video of Sadhguruji. It is self-defeating, and the way he's painted out the students as illiterate. Respected sir, they are in the students, they are universities. I know what illiterate do you mean. And also in the form of Jamia, respected sir, there's a student Minyajuddin who's lost his eye, and not a single student of Jamia was involved. Those were outsiders and anti-social elements. Therefore, it is wrong. You never speak of the police brutality. You don't speak of all the people who have died in Uttar Pradesh. More than 16 people lost their lives. In my state of Karnataka, Jalil and Naushin, 2 people have lost their life, so on and so forth. You never mention about it, but you only parrot the lines of the BJP government, which is wrong. And even those people who have faith in you and who have learnt about all of that which is taking place definitely lose faith in your words and the way you've gone about communicating and parroting the lines of the BJP, which is definitely not fair.
All right.
And it sends out
the debate continues. Remember, the Prime Minister himself today has tweeted out this particular message with the hashtag India supports CAA and has tweeted out Sadhguru's video here. What you make of Sadhguru's video and his message, we leave it to you. Thank you to Sinha, thank you MC Abbas and Chetan Singh for joining us. That was Newsnight. Thanks for watching.